I never thought my 27th birthday would be the day my world cracked wide open. We were gathered at this cozy steakhouse in Bozeman, Montana, the kind of place with wooden beams, antler chandeliers, and views of the Bridger Mountains that make you feel like you're in the heart of the American West. I'd picked it because Dad loved their bison ribeye. And deep down, I still chased that nod of approval from him. My name's Sarah Harlan. And up until that toast, I figured I knew my family like the back of my hand. Dad raised his glass, his weathered face breaking into that familiar grin. So, Sarah, how's the plan coming along to pay back that $200,000 I invested in your future? The words hung in the air like smoke from a campfire. My fork slipped, clanging against the plate. The room went dead quiet. My stepmom, Rebecca, fidgeted with her napkin. And my stepsister, Lily, suddenly found her phone fascinating. $200,000? I managed, my voice barely above a whisper. What are you talking about? John Harlan, Dad to me, set his glass down with that deliberate calm he got from years running his ranch supply business. He was still in his flannel shirt and jeans from the office, the uniform of a man who'd bootstrapped his way from a small feed store to supplying half the ranches in Montana. His blue eyes, the ones I'd inherited, met mine without a hint of joke. The money I set aside for your master's program at Montana State 3 years back. It was an investment, not charity. Figured by now you'd be chipping away at it. My stomach twisted like I'd been bucked off a horse. 3 years ago, I'd been over the moon about getting into MSU's agricultural economics program, a perfect fit for someone raised on the fringes of ranch life, dreaming of modernizing family farms. But when my partial scholarship didn't cover enough, I'd hit a wall. Dad had said he'd look into it, but nothing came through. So I rolled up my sleeves, mornings slinging coffee at the local diner, afternoons doing admin work at a feed co-op, evenings bartending at a honky-donk till closing. I traded my pickup for a beat-up bike and crammed into a tiny apartment in town. Dad, I never saw a cent of that money, I said, my heart pounding. Not one dime. The silence stretched like the vast Montana plains. Rebecca, my stepmom, poked at her salad, her new turquoise earrings, probably from that Santa Fe trip, catching the light. She was 52, kept up with yoga and those fancy spa days, always in outfits that screamed city girl gone west. She'd married Dad 5 years ago, after Mom passed from breast cancer. I'd tried to warm up to her, even called Lily my sister. But there was always this undercurrent, like she was sizing everything up. Lily looked up from her phone, her fresh highlights from that Denver salon visit shining. She'd just come back from a gap-year road trip across the Southwest that I'd assumed her mom had funded somehow. That's crazy, Dad said, his voice hardening like frozen ground. I wired it straight to the account Rebecca set up for your schooling. She handled the details while I was out negotiating that big contract with the Wyoming ranchers. My gaze shot to Rebecca. What account? I asked, keeping my tone steady, though my hands trembled under the table. She straightened, that poised look she got before our argument. The education fund we talked about. Honey, you said you wanted to manage it yourself, that you didn't need us hovering. We never talked about any fund, I shot back. And I sure as hell never said that. Lily chimed in. Maybe you forgot? You were juggling all those jobs, sounded pretty hectic. Hectic? I'd been running on fumes, surviving on instant noodles and black coffee, pedaling miles in the snow just to make ends meet. Meanwhile, $200,000 with my name on it had vanished into thin air? Prove it, I said quietly. Show me the transfers. The statements. Show me where it went. Dad pulled out his phone, scrolling with those callous fingers. Here, March 20th. 3 years ago. $200,000 from my business account to the one at Wells Fargo for your tuition. He turned the screen my way. There it was. Clear as day. A transfer to an account I'd never heard of. Never touched. That's not mine, I insisted. I've banked with a local credit union my whole life. Never had Wells Fargo. Don't be silly, Rebecca snapped. I listed you as beneficiary. All the paperwork's at home. Then why no statements? Why no heads up? Why'd I spend 3 years thinking you bailed on your promise? The table exploded, Dad demanding explanations. Rebecca calling me overdramatic. Lily muttering about entitlement. Our waiter hovered awkwardly, plates in hand. But all I could picture were those winter nights crashing on a friend's couch because my heat got shut off, or skipping meals to save for books. 3 years of grinding, believing my family couldn't swing it. Where'd it really go? Rebecca? I whispered. Her face flickered guilt, quick as a prairie storm, before she masked it. That split second told me everything. This wasn't neglect, it was betrayal. And Dad, the man who'd taught me to always shoot straight, was staring at me like I was the one spinning yarns. The truth unraveled in fragments, pieced together from old emails and half-forgotten chats. 3 years back, at 24, I was starving for more than just food, for a shot at something bigger than scraping by. Getting into MSU had been my ticket. 40 grand a year. I'd told Dad over dinner at our ranch house outside Bozeman, the wind howling off the mountains. Scholarship covers a chunk, but not enough. We'll sort it, he'd said, clapping my shoulder. This is your shot, Sarah. I'll talk to my accountant about freeing up some funds. But then that Wyoming deal swallowed him whole. Weeks on the road, hauling supplies across state lines. Rebecca stepped in, all honey and help. Let me take care of this, she'd said one afternoon while Dad was gone. You focus on prepping for classes. John asked me to set it up, except she never looped me in. No account details, no access codes, nothing. As the deadline neared, I cornered her. She sighed. Oh, sweetie. John had second thoughts. Market's rough with beef prices dipping. He didn't want to disappoint you himself. I'd bought it hook, line, and sinker. She was family, right? So I adapted community college credits on the cheap, dawn shifts at the diner, data crunching at the co-op, late nights pouring drinks. I downsized from a decent rental to a drafty studio with questionable wiring. Sold my old Ford for bus fare. Mastered budget meals like beans and rice. All while Rebecca updated the ranch house, new leather couches, a high-end kitchen remodel. Those investment paintings from local artists. Her ex-husband, Mike, suddenly had seed money for his latest scheme, some app for tracking cattle herds. And Lily, her Instagram lit up with shots from Sedona vortices, Vegas lights, even a side trip to the Grand Canyon. Exploring the West is life-changing, she'd captioned a pic from a luxury RV. I'd figured her dad's side chipped in, but no, it was my future fueling her wanderlust. Once I started digging that night, after dinner, the trail was glaring. Rebecca hadn't even tried hard to hide it. She'd opened the account, pitched it to Dad as mine, then treated it like her slush fund. Fake tuition receipts to MSU, doctored in some basic software. Emails from a phony university address updating Dad on my progress. Sarah's acing her AG econ classes, she'd write. Professor Jenkins says she's a natural. Professor Jenkins was as real as a $3 bill. I wasn't enrolled, I was flipping burgers for actual MSU kids, grinning through their gripes about exams, crumbling inside. The kicker? She'd framed me as the ingrate. when Dad asked about school during our sparse family barbecues.
이대 도자.
Too proud to admit defeat. He'd read it as secrecy. Maybe shame over his gift. Not even a thank you, he'd grumbled once after a few beers at his birthday cookout. $200,000 down the drain. I'd chalked it up to the whiskey. Now it clicked. By dawn, I'd compiled it all. Mike's app funding for Michelle LLC Rebecca set up. Lily's RV rental paid in full. Spa retreats that kept Rebecca looking rodeo queen fresh. The $200,000 evaporated. The clincher, Lily's gap year expenses, memoed as educational pursuits.
S.
Harlan. S for stolen. Not Sarah. I saved every scrap in a folder labeled fraud. Because that's what it was, plain theft under Montana law. And the girl they'd left to fend for herself in the harsh West had learned to rope her own justice. 3 days after that bombshell birthday, Dad called a family summit at our ranch house on the outskirts of Bozeman. The place sprawled across 50 acres, rolling hills dotted with cattle. A big log cabin Dad had built up from Mom's old homestead. I'd grown up riding horses here, but now it felt tainted, like the land itself held secrets. I pulled up in my rusty Chevy, parking next to Rebecca's shiny new Jeep Wrangler, another red flag I now saw clear. Mike answered the door, all oily charm and jittery eyes. His latest app had tanked, per his LinkedIn woes, but he sported a new silver belt buckle that screamed custom. Sarah, good to see ya. This is all just a big ol' mix-up. You'll see. I brushed past without a word. They were holed up in Dad's study, him behind his pine desk carved from local timber. Rebecca on the leather couch like she owned the place. Lily lounging in a rocker, fiddling with her bracelet. The room smelled of wood smoke and deceit. Sarah, Dad said, his tone even as a leveled rifle. Rebecca's cleared it all up. She showed me emails where you asked to handle the funds solo. Rebecca slid a folder my way with a pitying smile. I know you were stretched thin back then, darlin'. Easy to forget details. I flipped it open. Emails from an address mimicking mine, sarahharlant@gmail.com instead of my real Sarah, Harlan, writer@gmail.com. The messages were spot on. Rebecca, I'd rather manage the money myself. Transfer it to my account. I'll pay tuition direct. Don't tell Dad. Want to surprise him with straight A's. Clever. Down to my habit of using ellipses. This ain't my email, I said coolly, pulling my phone. Here's the real one. Trace the IPs, bet they ping right back to this ranch. Not my studio. Rebecca's lip twitched. IPs can be spoofed. You know tech from your co-op gig. I crunched numbers. Not code, I replied. Turning to Dad. Ever wonder why no report cards? No campus invites? No student ID? You've always played things close to the vest, he said, but doubt crept in like morning fog. It's unnecessary, Rebecca cut in. We got receipts. Forged ones. I hooked my laptop to the TV. Let me show what I uncovered. Silence fell as I clicked through. Phony MSU emails. Edited invoices. Rebecca's LLC. Mike's app cash. Lily's RV tabs. Dad's face darkened with each reveal. Rebecca's poise cracked. Mike sweated bullets. But Lily? She smirked like it was a bad Western flick. So what? Lily drawled. Money was for learnin'. I learned plenty on the road. Cultures. History. All that. The room blew up. You blew my grad fund on joyrides? I snarled. Years of resentment boiling over. It wasn't joyriding, she snapped. I took online courses too. And you were fine hustling those jobs like a true Montanan. 3 jobs, I fired back. While you hashtagged wanderlust from hot springs paid with my dreams. Girls. Enough. Rebecca stood, regaining footing. Thomas, John, this money was for family needs. Sarah opted out. I didn't know it existed. I yelled. Your word against ours, Mike added, puffing up. These claims could land you in hot water for slander. I laughed, a bitter Montana wind howl. Slander? Try truth. I've got every trace, every wire. IP's linking back here. Dad rose slow, his rancher build casting a long shadow. Rebecca, did you give Sarah access or not? John, she's twisting it all. Answer. The money was for us all, she admitted. Chin high. Lily's family. Mike needed startup cash to support us. Sarah's tough, always has been. You figured I didn't deserve my shot? I cut in. While I bunked in my truck between shifts. Skimped on meals. Watched my future fade. Don't dramatize, Lily, I rolled. You toughed it out. My Southwest trip built more character than some dusty degree. Dad's fist slammed the desk, rattling the room.
Out.
All y'all but Sarah, out of my house. John. You can't, Rebecca started. They scattered like spooked deer.
I biggest nets Repay.
Mike blustered about lawyers. Lily strutted out like a pageant queen. Alone, Dad slumped, looking every bit his 60 years. The divorce attorney's gonna love this, he muttered. Divorce? I blinked. Been suspecting something off for months. Hired a PI, but held off.
Now.
He met my eyes. The real Dad shining through. Sarah.
I'm sorry.
I let you down. We'll fix this. Together, I said. He nodded. Every cent. Plus interest. Plus pain. They want to play lawyer? They ain't seen Montana justice yet. The dig became my side hustle. After shifts at the co-op, I'd pore over docs in my studio, tracing the web. Hired a local PI. Marcus, ex-sheriff with a knack for financial trails. He uncovered more. Rebecca's tax dodges claiming education credits for Lily's trips, Mike's shady transfers to offshore accounts. Meanwhile, whispers hit town. Rebecca spread tales at the country club. Sarah's ungrateful. Stir in trouble. Lily posted cryptic Insta stories about toxic families. Mike even cornered me at the diner. Drop this, or things get ugly. We got connections. Threats now. I recorded it all. Sheriff might like this. Clara, my attorney from Billings, sharp as a branding iron, built our case. This is fraud. Embezzlement under Montana statute. Civil suit first, then criminal if needed. Dad backed me fully. Freezing joint accounts. Rebecca lawyered up, countersuing for defamation. But our evidence was ironclad. One night, Marcus called, found a bombshell. Rebecca deleted your MSU scholarship email, full ride alternate. She hacked your inbox. The cruelty hit like a blizzard. Not just theft, sabotage. She'd ensured I'd blame myself. Confrontation came at a mediation in Bozeman. Rebecca's crew looked cornered. Admit it, I said. You stole my future.
Family shares, she sneered.
You survived. Barely, I replied.
But now?
You're paying. Mediation failed. Trial loomed. I felt the West spirit. Resilient. Unforgiving. The weeks before trial were a whirlwind, like herding cattle in a dust storm. Clara prepped me relentlessly in her Billings office, overlooking the Yellowstone River. Stick to facts, she advised. Let the evidence speak. Juries here value straight shooters. Marcus's full report dropped more bombs. Rebecca had siphoned extra from Dad's business, petty cash for ranch improvements that funded her and Mike's Vegas weekends. Lily's gap year included undeclared income from sponsored posts, dodging taxes. And that deleted scholarship? Proof from server logs showed access from the ranch IP. Dad and I grew closer, mending fences over coffee at the ranch. I should have checked in more, he admitted one dawn, watching the sun crest the Absarcas. Trusted too blind. We both did, I said. Lesson learned, family ain't always blood deep. Rebecca's side got desperate. Anonymous calls to my boss at the co-op, hinting I was unstable. Lily messaged me, "You're tearing us apart over cash? Pathetic." I blocked her, focused on building my case, like stacking hay bales for winter. The preliminary hearing was in the old courthouse downtown with panels, Montana flag fluttering. Judge Harlan, no relation, presided, grizzled. Fair as they come. Clara laid it out. Fraud. Theft by deception. We seek restitution. Damages. Asset freeze. Rebecca's lawyer, a slick type from Helena named Pollard, objected. Family squabble. Your Honor. Private matter. Family don't steal, the judge rumbled. Proceed. Our slides rolled. Transfers. Fakes.
Threats.
Rebecca paled. Mike fidgeted. Lily scrolled her phone till Pollard yanked it. Then Clara dropped the IRS angle. They claimed deductions for non-existent tuition. Federal probe incoming.
Chaos.
Pollard stammered for recess. Judge granted the freeze. All assets locked till trial. 3 weeks.
Outside.
Rebecca cornered me. You've won. Okay, we'll settle. Stop this. It's about right and wrongs, I said. Not winning. Lily scoffed. Destroyin' lives over money. You destroyed mine, I replied. Fair's fair. Clara pulled me away. No contact. Mike muttered to Rebecca. Told you to bury it deeper. No sorries, just gripes. 3 weeks flew. Clara called late. They're crackin'. Lily wants a deal, testimony for leniency. Stunned. I listened. Lily had recordings, Rebecca plotting from day one. Smart girl, Clara said. Covered her tracks. Dad drummed fingers. What's she given? Everything. Dates back years. My call. Lily profited. But her flip could bury Rebecca and Mike.
Take it, I said.
But I want her apology in court. On record. Done. Trial day dawned crisp. Mountain snow-capped. Courthouse buzzed, ranchers. Look out. Even press from Billings Gazette. Word spread. Harlan family drama. Judge entered. Clara announced. Development. Lily Harlan as cooperating witness. Rebecca glared daggers. Mike deflated. Lily took the stand. Usual swagger gone. Miss Harlan, Clara began. Play the March 22nd recording. 2 years back. Rebecca's voice echoed. John buys Sarah's at MSU hook.
Line.
I feed him updates. She won't admit failure, too stubborn. Money's rerouted. By discovery. Untraceable. Murmurs rippled. Lily added. Mom picked MSU to twist the knife. Knew it was Sarah's dream. Said it'd make her self-doubt. Breath caught.
Psychological gut punch.
More, Lily said, glancing my way. She nuked Sarah's DePaul scholarship email, full ride waitlist spot. Court hushed. Even Judge leaned in. I stood. Your Honor. Permission to speak. Irregular. But go. Facing Rebecca. DePaul too? You stole that chance. Rebecca snapped. You had it all, John's pride. The legacy. I needed security for mine. So you torpedoed his kid? Dad boomed. Mr. Harlan, Judge warned. She was weak, Rebecca hissed. Scrappin' by. Never questionin'.
Nos pain,
I trusted, I said soft. Family. Mike jumped. Deal time. Rebecca forced me. Debt's pillin'. She threatened divorce. His lawyer hushed him. But Mike spilled. She's got a hidden Wyoming account, $250K inheritance. Untaxed. Betrayal complete. Rats fleeing the barn. Judge. Enough. Ruling time. I've seen frauds. But this cruelty's rare. You stole dreams. Years. For us. $200,000 principal. $50,000 interest. $70,000 emotional. Refer to feds for criminal. Fraud. Evasion. To Rebecca. Wyoming account frozen. IRS'll dig. Mike. Asset hidden. Federal rap. Lily. Repay $50,000. No more.
Lucky.
Gavel down. Over. Rebecca's last barb. Happy now? Ruined us. You ruined, I said. I reflected. Dad hugged me outside. What next? Apply to school my way. Maybe Colorado State. Fresh start. City or plains, open wide. Justice tasted sweet as mountain air. Post-trial dust settled slow, like after a cattle drive. The check came $320,000 after fees. Clara earned her cut. I cleared loans, banked for school, invested smart. No shared accounts this time. The co-op offered promotion, but Montana felt heavy. Applied to jobs out west, landed senior analyst at a Denver AG tech firm. Closer to mountains, far from ghosts. Packed my Chevy. Said bye to the ranch. Dad helped load. Proud.
Sarah.
You fought like a Harlan. We did, I said. Hugged tight. Divorce finalized. Dad kept the ranch. Rebecca got scraps. She and Mike faced feds. Plea deals loomed. Seattle?
Nah.
Denver's vibes suited. Urban edge. Rocky views. New apartment overlooked the Front Range.
Small. Meaning.
Sunset hikes replaced bar shifts. Dad texted from Scotland trip, retired. Sold business fat.
Missing ja.
Stronger for this. Heart emoji back. Bond rebuilt on truth. Email pinged. Colorado State acceptance. Partial scholarship. Earned. Not gifted. Doorbell. Neighbor Tom with craft beer. Welcome. Late as it is. Shared on balcony. He asked, Miss Montana? Sometimes. But Bilden knew. From something? Toward. Phone buzzed. Lily's Insta, her at a coffee shop job. Fresh starts. Fall to rise. No like. No block. Growth possible. News. Mike got 12 months probation. Community service. Rebecca. 18 months house arrest. Restitution. Feds went light. First offense. Cooperation. Tom. Wild story. Family theft in Montana. Yeah, I sipped. But justice served. Lost years.
Though. Invested in.
Built grit. He chuckled. Deep for beer night. Alone. I journaled. Mom. Made it. Not easy. But here. Rebecca's pain. But I forgive a bit. Dad's free. School starts soon. Truth freed us.
Like you said.
Proud? Hope so.
Love.
Sarah. Blocked a prison call. Rebecca. Some chapters close.
But mine?
Open wide. 6 months in. Life hummed. Denver job thrilled. Strategizing for sustainable ranches. Classes at CSU challenged. Fulfilled. Dad visited. Place suits ya. Toured Rockies. Forgive em, he asked. Working on it. Lesson. Communicate open. He nodded. Me too. Lily reached out, letter. Sorry.
Sarah.
Mom's mess. But I enabled. Paying back slow. Learned hard way. Families earned. Replied. Accepted. Move on. Rebecca? Radio silent post-sentence. Rumor, moved to Idaho. Quiet life. Mike. Back schemin'. But legit.
Me?
Thriving. Stole my path. Forged stronger one. One eve. Hiking alone. Realized humanity in it all. Revenge tempts. But mercy heals. Light lesson. Trust. But verify. Family's fragile. Nurture it. Future bright as western sun. The aftermath unfolded gradually. Much like the changing seasons in the Rockies. The restitution check arrived promptly. A hefty $320,000 after Clara's well-deserved fees. I methodically paid off my lingering student loans from undergrad, set aside a solid chunk for tuition, and invested the remainder in a diversified portfolio, nothing flashy. Just steady growth funds that mirrored the resilient spirit of the West. This time, every account was in my name only, with multi-factor authentication and regular audits. No more blind trust. My boss at the co-op in Bozeman offered a promotion to keep me around, more responsibility. Better pay, but the town felt suffocating now. Every corner a reminder of the betrayal. I scoured job boards for opportunities further west, landing interviews in Denver and Salt Lake. The senior analyst role at an AG tech startup in Denver clicked immediately, strategizing data-driven solutions for family farms, helping them navigate droughts and market swings. It was the kind of work I dreamed of during those endless bartending nights. Packing up my studio was bittersweet. Dad came over to help, his truck loaded with boxes. "This place served you well," he said, taping up the last one. "But Denver's a good move. Fresh pastures." We shared a quiet dinner at the ranch that night, grilled steaks from our own herd. Stars blanketing the sky. "I'm proud of you, Sarah," he said. "You didn't just survive, you led the charge." "We both did," I replied, clinking my glass to his. "Couldn't have without you waking up to it." His divorce from Rebecca wrapped up cleanly. He retained the ranch and most assets, while she got a modest settlement, enough to start over, but nothing lavish. The feds had stepped in, but plea deals softened the blow. Mike got 12 months probation and mandatory financial counseling, plus community service at a local nonprofit. Rebecca faced 18 months of house arrest in a small Idaho town, with full restitution and tax penalties. No prison bars, but the humiliation was punishment enough. It felt humane, justice, without total destruction. Denver welcomed me with its mile-high energy. My new apartment was modest, one bedroom with a balcony overlooking the Front Range, where I could watch storms roll in from the plains. I furnished it simply, a sturdy oak table from a local craftsman, bookshelves crammed with AG econ texts, and a coffee maker that rivaled the diner's. Sunsets became my ritual, hiking trails in the foothills to clear my head. Dad started texting more, photos from his long-overdue Scotland golf trip, now that he'd sold the business for a comfortable nest egg. "Thinking of you out here," one read. "You've made me stronger too." Our bond had deepened, forged in the fire of truth. We talked weekly. No more surface chit-chat. Then the email arrived. "Dear MS. Harlan, congratulations on your acceptance to Colorado State University's Master's in Agricultural Economics, with a merit-based partial scholarship, earned on my transcripts, essays, and grit, not handed or hidden." I hooped alone in my kitchen, toasting with a solo beer. The doorbell rang one evening. My neighbor Tom, a fellow hiker, with a six-pack of local IPA. "Belated housewarming," he grinned. Heard you're the new analyst down at AgriData. We cracked them open on the balcony as the city lights flickered on. Miss Montana? He asked. A bit, the open spaces, the quiet. But I needed to build something untouched by the past. Running from trouble? Nah, I said, realizing it was true. Chasing opportunity. My phone lit with an Instagram alert. Lily had posted after months of silence, a selfie behind a coffee counter. Apron on.
No glamour.
Caption. Starting fresh. Sometimes you gotta hit rock bottom to stand tall on your own. I didn't engage, but it sparked a flicker of empathy. Growth wasn't linear. Local news buzzed in the background. Former Montana residents Mike and Rebecca Brennan sentenced in family fraud case, probation and house arrest, emphasizing rehabilitation over incarceration. Tom glanced over. Crazy. Stepmom steals kids' college fund.
Imagine.
Horrible, I agreed. But at least there's a path to redemption. Justice with mercy. Lost years for the victim.
Though.
I pondered those grinding days. Exhaustion building character. Hunger sharpening focus. Maybe not lost. Invested in becoming unbreakable. He laughed. That's some Western wisdom right there. Later, solitude brought reflection. I opened my journal. Mom, I made it through the storm. Not the trail I planned, but here I stand. Rebecca's paying her dues, but I found space to forgive a little. It lightens the load. Dad's free.
Happier.
School beckons. Your words echo. Truth sets you free. It did. With a side of resilience. Hope I've honored you. Love always. Sarah. A call from an unknown Idaho number, Rebecca's monitored line. No doubt. I let it voicemail, then deleted. Some bridges stay burned. But my horizon? Wide open. Like the prairies. Life in Denver bloomed like spring wildflowers after a hard winter. My role at AgriData was a dream, analyzing market trends, advising ranchers on sustainable practices, even traveling to sites in Wyoming and New Mexico. Classes at CSU started in the fall, evenings debating policy, weekends crunching data models. The scholarship covered half. I funded the rest.
No shortcuts.
Dad visited for my first semester kickoff. We hiked Rocky Mountain National Park, elk bugling in the distance. This suits you, he said, wind tousling his hair. Stronger than ever. Over camp coffee. You forgiven them? Working on it, I admitted. Anger's heavy baggage. Better to let go. Focus forward. He nodded. Smart. I have, mostly. Life's too short for grudges. A letter arrived from Lily. Handwritten. Postmarked Bozeman. Sarah.
I'm truly sorry.
Mom's scheme sucked me in, but I chose to stay blind. Working double shifts now. Paying back slow. Learned. Family means lifting up, not pulling down. Hope you thrive. I replied briefly. Apology accepted. Keep growing. We all deserve second shots. Rebecca stayed silent. Her house arrest a quiet penance. Rumor via mutual friends. She volunteered at a local shelter. Reflecting. Mike pivoted to honest work, consulting for legit AG apps. One crisp autumn day, I presented at a conference in Albuquerque, Resilient Farming in the West. Drew from my trials, turning setbacks into strategy. Standing ovation. Felt like closure. Evenings, I'd reflect on the humanity woven through the mess. Revenge had its pull. But the court's measured ruling, rehab over ruin, taught a gentle lesson. Justice tempers with compassion. We all err. Growth comes from accountability, not annihilation. Trust blindly no more, but extend grace where earned. Communication, Men's what silence breaks. My story? Not just theft and triumph, but transformation. They took my path. I blazed a better one. Unbreakable. Wiser. Open-hearted. The western sun set on old wounds, rising on endless possibility. Months turned to a year in Denver, each day layering new strength like sediment in the Rockies. At AgriData, I led a project optimizing water use for drought-hit ranches. Real impact. Saving livelihoods. Colleagues became friends. Friday happy hours replaced lonely bar closes. CSU challenged me. Professors pushed critical thinking. Peers shared diverse stories. My thesis brewed economic resilience in family-owned AG businesses, infused with personal grit. Dad's visits grew frequent. We explored ghost towns, fished alpine lakes. "You've taught me," he said once. Casting a line. Blind trust's foolish. Open eyes. Open hearts. Forgiveness, too, I added. Holds us back less. He smiled. You're the wise one now. Lily's letter sparked ongoing, cautious chats. She enrolled in online business courses. Aiming legit. Thanks for the grace, she texted. Changed my view. Rebecca broke silence via email. Sarah.
No excuses.
I was wrong. Driven by fear. House arrest gave time to reflect. Volunteering now, helping women rebuild. Wish you well. I pondered, then replied, acknowledged. Heal and grow. Mike, stabilized. Mentoring startups ethically. A milestone. Graduated with honors. Dad beaming in the audience. Your mom'd be proud, he whispered. Post-ceremony hike. Reflected on the saga's humane core. The system's leniency, probation. Service allowed redemption. Lesson light as mountain air. Betrayal hurts. But empathy heals. Verify trust. Communicate clear. Forgive when possible. Family's not given. It's chosen daily. My journey. From victim to victor. Thief forged resilient. The West's vastness mirrored my freed spirit. Open. Enduring. Ever forward. Thriving. Not just surviving.
And that,
the truest justice.